Okay,
Welcome,
you start
one
us.
and all, to yet another fun-filled, jam-packed edition of the Re-Education Camp podcast. Karen, I don't even know what number podcast this is, but here we are, showing up each and every week, cranking out content here. We have a whole back catalog at this point, so you should click that subscribe button down below because this is a fun show where we talk about all sorts of things, ranging from the politics of today to pop culture to you name it. But my name is Colin Miller, being joined as always by the incomparable Karen O'Toole. Karen, what's on the docket for today, as they say?
Well, as many people may be familiar with, when you would watch a sitcom back, mostly in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there was always a special episode, a very special episode. So today, in honor of Valentine's Day, that we're marking February 14th, this Wednesday, we decided to take a look at dating as a conspiracy theorist in today's modern world. So we wanted to kind of give some people some tips and maybe discuss navigating the dating scene if you happen to be worried about the coming gulags, be worried about the Great Reset, be worried about Klaus Schwab. If those are things that are on your mind day in and day out, we think that you need kind of just some guidelines on how to navigate the modern dating world. So that's what we're gonna dive into today.
Well, that sounds like a fun topic that is near and dear to my heart because, as you know, as a single man living in the free state of Florida here, it's not always easy being out there on the dating scene, especially when you are privy to information that the common folk are not so closely tuned into. I mean, what do I always say, Karen? When I drive past a Publix, I look in there and I think, what is the percentage of people that are shopping in that store right now who know who Klaus Schwab is, who know what the World Economic Forum is, the Bilderberg Group, etc. and so forth. And I always think it's got to be pretty low still. I still feel like this is they say that we're in the midst of this great awakening. Yeah, which I do agree with, but it's still a very small percentage of people in my estimation who know what these things are and how, do they know who Larry Fink is? Do they know what BlackRock is doing? That it did, are they aware that these are things that are affecting not only themselves but people who are near and dear to them who might be in the market for a house? BlackRock will swoop right in there and outbid you, and it's a they want to have that permanent renters class. But anyway, I kind of went around in circles there. What I'm saying is it's difficult to meet other individuals who are honed into all of these things that are obviously very important.
Well, yeah, I believe that you kind of meet somebody and you talk to them and maybe we'll discuss that too. Like how do you broach these topics? Like how do you get kind of this information out of that person? How do you navigate uh, like just getting to those nitty-gritties and those topics? So we are going to dive into that. I do want to just start off by saying that we're going to start with I've broken this down in kind of like levels. So we have like level 0 to level 5. When you meet someone, whether they're a male or female. So I think we're going to start with level 0. So level 0, I've determined that level 0 is like tonight is the Super Bowl. And if you meet a male or female, mostly I'm discussing kind of female because I think mostly this podcast is just to service therapy for Colin and for dating
Yeah,
advice.
for and plus,
It's for
Karen,
me too. It's for
yeah,
me. Yeah.
Karen needs someone to be a sounding board for all of her
Yes.
various ideas and such. So,
Yes, absolutely. So, but some of these I've kind of approached thinking of a female, like a guy looking for a female, but a lot of these can apply vice versa and can be a male looking for a male, female looking for a female.
There's no
Um,
females who are
there's
looking
no
to be in a
females. Yeah.
relationship. Let me tell you, I haven't
Females
found
like,
one yet. Lots of guys out
but
there, lots of dudes, lots of pretty much everybody has a child, is what I was trying to say. If you get
oh,
on some of
really?
these, oh yeah, yeah. If you get on some of these dating sites, like I'm on Match, for instance, like you when you apply the filter has no kids, boy, I swear, like hundreds of people disappear when you click that filter. It really like
They're just
kind
swooping
of
them up, the ones with no kids. They're just coming in and
I
getting
no, what
them.
I'm trying to say is I don't think they exist. I think everybody has a kid.
Every
Everybody
eligible.
has at least
Okay,
one
everybody's
kid.
kid.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, that's a topic for another episode.
I don't want to derail us, but that's kind
Yes,
of what
no,
we
no.
do
Well,
here.
this is kind of, it's a Valentine episode. So we're having a conversation about dating, Cupid, all that good stuff. But first, level zero. Level zero is if Colin was talking to a young lady or an older lady today, and
Hey,
she,
listen, if the dollar sign is in the right, if the decimal place is in the right place, you know.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So if you are talking to a young lady, say you were talking, chatting up a woman today, and she said, Colin, I'm so excited. Tonight is the Super Bowl, and I cannot wait to see what Taylor Swift wears. I just love her and Travis Kelsey together. They make such a great couple, but there is no alluding to Pfizer. There is no alluding to the government psyop. There is no alluding to the 2024 election. If these things are not coming up, this is just rose colored glasses. This person just loves Taylor Swift. They just can't wait to see what funny commercials are coming on. They want to watch the Super Bowl, not for the satanic ritual that will take place at the halftime show. That is not why they are watching. They are just watching as a good, regular American. You're at a level zero. This
Oh,
person might not be really ready for a relationship with you. That's what are your thoughts on that?
number one, I don't respect their intelligence. Number two, Number two, right off the bat, whenever I meet a girl and they're super into football, like, oh my God, I don't, should I get into this? Well, I'm not gonna name names. I mean, nobody's listening to this anyway.
Yeah.
So, my last date that I had, this girl was super into the New York Giants to the point where like she dressed up as one of the players for Halloween, and it was just like man, it was like the turn off of all turn offs. Like if you're
Yeah.
super into football and you do the whole Sunday, I shouldn't be so judgmental, but at the same time, I like to be a truthful person, and I really think that football is stupid. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, my thoughts on football, I was just having a conversation with somebody at church today, and we have like a children's church, and the kids go up to the front of the church and the pastor kind of addresses them, and he was like, "Hey, kids, does anybody know what's going on tonight?" And I just sat there in the pew and I thought to myself like, "Wait, what's dinner? Like dinner's tonight? Like what the heck is going on tonight that I don't know about? Is there a national holiday?" Um, so I was talking to somebody after church, and she was saying, she's like, her husband was saying he had no interest in football. She was a little bit more into the Eagles. And I think if you get together with your family and it can be like a fun family event, that's fine. But I don't get into the point where it's like I bleed the sports team. I don't know any of the players. I don't know anything that's going on. I literally know nothing. And that's okay. Like I don't, but if you, I think that there is a line at which it gets too crazy. But at the same time, like I know way too much about like Meghan Markle. I know way too much about the Duggars. I know way too much about a lot of things that I really shouldn't know about. So as I will give credit to Jim Gaffigan, he calls it McDonald's. Like so sports can kind of become your McDonald's. It's like for some guys and some gals, it's like their little guilty pleasure. It's something that just tastes good. Is it really the best use of their time and resources? No. But It's just
I mean, I
something that
watch
they
pro
kind of do.
wrestling, so I shouldn't, there are people out there who would, think that that's ridiculous that like grown
Yeah,
adults are still
yeah.
watching. Well, that's because they're stupid and don't understand it. But anyhow, get
But yeah, I just think that like if you just get together with family. Now, I do know people that are like super into it and they have like a fantasy football league and there's this and that and they know every player. It's like, do you work for the team? Like, is your son on the team? Like, that's where I feel about it. Like, I don't own part of which they are trying to start that where you can own parts of teams, like kind of like as an investment. But like, I don't, my brother doesn't play for the Eagles. I don't work for the Eagles. I don't like it doesn't do anything for my life, so I just don't. But yet again, like I said, I mean, what Meghan Markle's doing and Prince Harry has nothing to do with my life, but I still like to check in and see what the Saint Meghan is up to, see
I
how
feel
she's
like,
ruining his life, you know?
you know what though, in your defense though, I feel like at least with the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stuff, it's sort of relevant politically, culturally. I mean, these are people who could conceivably shape the state of things in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like the NFL is not going to do that, but Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, yeah, they're prominent cultural figures who have the capability to shape the public discourse. You know,
Well, I guess I mean, in some ways, football kind of is part of the culture, though, too. So we are veering way off course.
and
Okay,
that's
so
my
level
fault.
zero. Yes, that's okay. So level zero is you're just tuning in. You're not worried about the demonic, satanic rituals that are taking place during the Super Bowl halftime show. You're just worried. You're just excited to see Usher. You just want to dance to his
Is
song,
that who it is
and you're
tonight?
excited. Yeah, I looked it up earlier. Yeah,
Usher
yeah.
is the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yes, yeah, and they
Is
didn't
he is
confirm.
is Usher like still relevant and big? Does he still produce
No,
records?
no, they just I think that they just find people that everybody kind of is okay with, and they're not really I don't know what they're trying to
Why don't
do.
they
I
get
don't understand.
Metallica? Everybody's cool with Metallica.
Well, they usually are trying to get people like they're trying to get the women, they're trying to get like different. They don't want they know Metallica fans might be already watching. Like men. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So they want the women that might not watch the game. They
I was
try
at a
to get like
Metallica
a
concert.
bigger.
There were women there. I can assure you.
Okay.
I
I'm
saw
not
them.
I'm not I'm not saying that women don't like Metallica. I'm just saying that they
I know.
try
I know.
to yeah, you get it. Like they want to get the highest ratings possible. So I don't even know how the hell I'm going to watch it. I don't have cable. So I wasn't I mean, honestly, I had no intention to watch it, but now my husband, we stopped at the grocery store and he decided we're having buffalo chicken dip. We're having this has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. It has everything to do with the snacks. So we might just watch The Sopranos because we've been watching The Sopranos and so it's Soprano Bowl tonight at my house.
That is
So
one show that I've never watched, believe it or not. I really need to get
I've
on that.
I've never so I've always heard about it and we just have like so it was free to watch and we were just like looking through stuff to look at and I said, "Well, what about The Sopranos? You want to watch that?" And like you said, everybody says it's like the greatest show
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, so we could talk about more about Sopranos in another episode, but I have watched it and decided that being in the mafia is like my dream job. Like they pretty much they like shoot pool all day. They eat, they just go to coffee
And
shops.
I love to shoot pool. I love to
Um,
drink coffee. I love to eat.
yeah.
I love to
They
just
get up
hang and
yeah,
bullshit.
they just hang out with
That's
each other, they visit each
that's
other,
all I want to do.
they drive around, like, I mean, they get up whenever they feel like I'm like, "How do I join the mafia? This
Yeah.
job is great." Like, there doesn't seem to be any really set time you have to be there, you know?
No.
So, yeah, so I'm like,
And I
this
like
is
that too. There's nothing worse to me than having like a set time for anything. I have such a
yeah.
difficult time showing up on time to anything. But I digress.
All right, so
Moving
any more
forward.
thoughts? So level 1, so we have level 0, just completely rose-colored glasses, and that is gonna be very difficult to begin a relationship with because their version of reality is so far removed from likely someone like Colin's version of reality. So we're going to have
The
to move
real
on from a
reality.
level 0. Yes. So level 1, I would say level 1 is like you're familiar with JFK conspiracy. You're kind of familiar with the moon landing might not have really happened. Um,
You get points for
you're
that for
not,
sure.
yeah, you're definitely not, you don't think that Joe Biden is a good president. Like that's definitely not. I'm not going to discuss the 2020 election on a level 1. Like a level 1 is and I don't even think it's really fair to say that a level 1 is a conservative. Like I think a level 1 could be a liberal or could be, but not like a progressive crazy liberal. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
No,
yeah, yeah, not
they're all
not to
about
that
the government
level.
narrative.
Yes, yeah. It's very odd nowadays how that's taking place. But yeah, so I'd say level 1 is not saying that the moon landing was fake, but is saying, "Hmm, I've
You're
heard of
aware
that."
that
You're
there
aware.
is
Some questions.
so
Yeah.
yeah, people
You're
talk
starting to,
and you're aware of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're starting to kind of break down like the fabric that's been knitted for you, and you're starting to see the seams ripped, and you understand that like what's going on might not be exactly what is taking place. So I don't know. Are there any other thoughts on what you think a level 1 might be? Like what
I was
that
just I was just thinking about how I would want to sit down and watch The Shining with them, so I can show them the scene with what's his name, Danny. He's wearing a Apollo 11 sweatshirt in that movie. Stanley
wow.
Kubrick put little clues
Yeah.
in there to say, hey, it's true. I filmed
Mm.
it.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I think you pretty much you pretty well covered what a
well, level
level one
1.
would be. We're just kind of getting our feet wet, so to speak,
Yeah, just
in a
seeing,
level
yeah.
one. Um,
Starting to see those, like I said, tears in the, narrative, starting to see that maybe the world's not exactly as, they've been told. So that's definitely like a level 1. Now, a level 2, I would say questions the 2020 election, the validity of the 2020 election. They're thinking, "Huh, did really 81 million people really,
More than
really
Obama,
more
more
than Obama?
popular than
Yeah, more
Obama.
popular than
Think about
Obama." Like, they
that.
start to think about them. What is the deal with all these mail-in votes? We never
All the swing
really.
states just stopped
Oh,
counting in the
yeah,
middle of the
yeah.
night, and then
What
vans
is
came and
yeah.
brought in ballots. What? There's
So,
nothing.
yes. Yeah, so I think that level 2 starts to kinda question, like, they definitely look and they're sitting there thinking, like, "I don't know about this Zelensky guy in Ukraine." They're definitely thinking, like, "Hold on,
Yeah,
like,
why is he playing the piano with his appendage? Isn't that a little odd? I've never seen a
why are we
president
gi
do that before.
why are we giving this guy billions of
Why
dollars? I
doesn't
don't
our
really."
president do that? These
Yeah.
would be the questions I'd be asking.
Yeah, so this person's definitely sitting there thinking like, "Hmm, there's some oddities that are taking place in the world." They're a little confused. I'd say that this person, I would say a level 1 knows of Joe Rogan. They don't think Joe Rogan needs to be imprisoned. I would say a level 2 I would say a level 2 listens to Joe Rogan. A level 1 definitely is like Joe Rogan is cool or not cool, but like, okay, yeah, no, I've heard of Joe Rogan. I don't think that he's like needs to be locked up for and his show taken away from him. Like I think that that's a level 0. I think doesn't even know who Joe Rogan is. Like they're not even really like they're like that guy from Fear Factor. Like they're not even really
Yeah,
sure.
they remember the
Yes.
name. They remember this was somebody on television back in the day in the 90s or
Yeah.
2000s or whatever.
Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they don't really know. Level 1 is like, yeah, Joe Rogan, okay. I saw, like, a clip he did, and they're, like, okay with Joe Rogan. I saw that he does, like, a UFC and, okay, yeah, they're not really that worried about it. I'd say a level 2 listens to Joe Rogan. They, like they're also aware, okay, I would say a level 1 doesn't think Alex a level 0 thinks Alex Jones should be you know,
Oh, he should be in
imprisoned.
prison. Yeah.
He should be in prison. A level
Yeah, show
zero is
should be
like
taken
Alex
away.
Jones is,
Yeah.
yes, is an evil man who needs to be locked up. Steve Bannon is the
He
Sith
killed
Lord.
all those kids
Like, I would say
himself.
levels, yeah, a level zero may or may not know who Alex Jones is, but if they do, they think he needs to be in prison. A level zero doesn't even know who Steve Bannon is. Like a level zero is like,
Oh
who?
no,
Like,
if you know the name Steve Bannon, you're honestly you're practically balls deep in all of this, as they say. Forgive
unless,
the
yeah,
expression.
unless you're like on the other side and you think he's like the Sith Lord or
Oh,
something like
Steve
that.
Bannon.
But
I know
yeah,
people like that too.
yeah. But yeah, so I would say like a level one is like, okay, Joe Rogan, yeah, he's UFC. Okay, all right. Level two is like, um, wait, we said level two. Level two listens to Joe Rogan. Like they're like they listen to Joe Rogan. They think Alex Jones is a little out there, but he's okay. Like he comes on, he's kind of funny. They're kind of
He's
interested in
predicted some
him.
things that might have been true.
Yeah, yeah, but they're not, they don't really know who David Icke is. They're not really sure about that, but they listen to Joe, they're getting their feet wet, they're getting a little involved. I would say a level two is someone that you can date. Like I would say, like that is someone you want to continue. That's a green
Oh
light. A level
yeah.
one is like you'd have to go on several dates. Level two is like, let's get married. Like level two is like,
Yeah, I'll
I
water
can,
that
yeah,
flower.
yeah,
I'll tend to that garden for sure because it could bloom into something, very, very
yes,
lovely.
yes. So now I would say level three declares that the 2020 election was stolen. Okay. Level three is just like, we're getting into it. Like a level
That's what
three
I
is
need.
like,
I need that like right up front, honestly. Like you have to be certain too. There's no
yes,
like, oh, there might have been like, no, you have to be like, yeah, obviously this was stolen by the CIA.
yes. And a level three is also, I would say, so level two is like, I guess the pandemic, that was a little weird. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Level three is like pandemic, bitch. Okay. Like excuse my French, but a level three is like that was a pandemic. Like that was totally made, whether or not they got the vaccine, they are like totally like that was all orchestrated. That was, that was not whether no matter what you believe the motivations are for 2020 pandemic, you a level three is going to say it was planned. It's a pandemic. Level two is going to think, huh, that was a little weird.
Yeah, the
Like,
level
I
twos
don't
are funny. It's
really,
like, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a bit odd that the government
yeah,
just locked us all in our homes and we
yeah,
couldn't go anywhere, and every business was shut down, and we had to take these shots. I mean, yeah, I suppose something about this was
yeah.
a
Say
tad queer.
yeah. A level one has heard of all of this, but they haven't really made any decision. And obviously, a level zero either just does not care. A level zero is like, I'm so bummed that my bachelorette party was, or my friend's bachelorette was canceled because of the pandemic. Like, that's
Yeah,
like, they don't even remember, they don't even know it's called a pandemic. They just call it like that
the corona.
2020 hashtag 20 crazy, like they're just like, I totally wanted to go to girls weekend in Nashville, but it didn't happen because of 2020. And then like a
I'd go to
level
girls' weekend in Nashville. We can go to the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge. I hear it's really cool.
are, well, there you go. And level one would, by the way, Nashville and Pigeon Forge aren't that close, but they're both in Tennessee. So
I'm
close
sure
enough,
they're in driving
whatever. Yeah,
distance.
you're true. That's true. I mean, yeah, you're right. A level one is just thinking like, pandemic. Okay, whatever. They're just like kind of moving on, like, all right, I gotta get back to work. Like they're not super worried about it. Level two is starting to question. Level two is like, wait a minute, like this is weird. Like RNA, like what even is that? This is why did the FDA, streamline this? I don't really understand, but they're not obviously level three is like that was planned. That was
And they're
not
going to do
legit.
this again too.
And they're
They've
gonna do
got a
this again.
weaponized mouse pox that they're cooking up. It's going to kill 30% of the population. We have to stop
Yeah.
this.
And level 3, yeah, level 3 is just like, okay, these are truths. Like, I know that this is all going on. I wouldn't say level 4 is like super, um, I'm saying level 3 is not quite like super motivated by any of this, but they're just like, okay, this is the way it is. Like maybe they dabble in listening to Alex Jones.
So
Um,
your fours would be like they know that Peter Daszak of the Eco Health Alliance and Fauci cooked this up at Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and then it was
I'd say
shipped to
that's
Wuhan. Or is that
Yeah,
five?
I'd say that's a level 4. So as
Okay.
we can kind of go back to the different levels, but a level 4 was like at the Capitol on January 26th. Okay. Like their person is like either at the Capitol or they were at the Capitol in spirit. Okay. Not in the Capitol. There is a difference. We're going to
But they
get
went to
into
see the
that.
president speak. Is
But
that
they
what you're
went to go
saying?
see, yes, and I have a cousin who actually falls into this. They went and saw
Oh,
Trump speak. She has a boyfriend,
she's.
unfortunately.
Does she have any idea what's going to happen to her?
Well, we also have a restaurant where I live, and the owners were at the speech. They were not in the Capitol, and all around the country, people sent in reviews for their business, and it was shared all over Facebook, a picture of them at the speech. And all over the country, people were giving them horrible reviews, like saying how that they were like white supremacists. People had never stepped foot in their restaurant. Were just, I mean, these I hate whatever. I don't even care if I face consequences for that. These are the kind of people that will throw you in a camp, like they are
Oh,
just ideologues who have completely stripped the humanity away from people if they attend a speech by the president. Like
well, it
it's,
was by the
yeah,
most evil man
evil
in
man.
the history, more evil than Hitler, Stalin, Mao, uh, and put
combined,
together.
combined. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But so yeah, I would say a level 4 was at the Capitol. They're a regular InfoWars listener. They're a regular War Room listener. I'd say yeah, I'd say that's a level 4. I'd say a level 4
I
is
would start a family with a
regularly.
level 4 like immediately, like like that night, like there would be a
Yeah.
family
You're
started.
like, yes, you would just be like, let's go to any store, whatever store. We need to start
Right.
this. Here's your
Yeah.
wedding band. Let's go. Let's find a priest.
Oh, we go to
They
Vegas.
Yes, I'd say a level 4 attends Latin mass too. I would definitely say a level 4 attends Latin mass. I would say a level 4 has definitely purchased some prepping materials, is
Hmm.
worried about that. Yeah, like they're definitely they're in the know. They're definitely all over that. I'd say a level 4 also knows about like John McCain going over to Ukraine during the Orange Revolution. I'd say that they definitely are not a fan of Zelensky. Not that we are promoting Russia on this podcast, but we're not Putin apologists here. But we're just saying that a level 4 would not be all in on this war. I would say I want to go back and make a good point about this too. Level 1 is not very familiar with the military industrial complex. I'd say level 2 is like, there's some weird things about Raytheon. Like a level 2 is like knows that there's like some kind like is sick of all these wars. Like a
They know
level
of
2,
Eisenhower's speech, like
yes,
they're
yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah, yeah. A level 2 is like aware of Eisenhower's speech, is thinking like, whoa, what is up with all these wars? Like, what is going on? What's the deal with 9/11? Why did we invade Iraq? But they don't really know. That's about all they know. Why did we invade Iraq? Because of nine.
I thought
Now,
Afghanistan. I thought Osama bin
yeah,
Laden was in Afghanistan. Yeah.
yeah. And then level 3 is like
Those buildings
definitely
were
is like,
imploded.
yeah. Well, I'd say a level 3 is like something. I would say a level 3 is like it thinks that Donald Rumsfeld and Cheney had something to do with the hijackers. A level 4 is like those buildings were imploded. And yeah, so and I'd say a level 4 is familiar with David Icke. They're familiar with the reptilians. Like those are, they definitely think that the vaccine was a problem, was a depopulation
One of their favorite movies is
tool.
They Live with Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yes.
by John
exactly.
Carpenter.
And then we reach like a level 5, which is somebody that was in the Capitol building on January 6th. And if they were not in the only reason they weren't in the Capitol that day is because they knew that that the CIA would be infiltrating it and making things a little bit more raucous. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the only reason they weren't there. Otherwise, they were there and they were arrested or they were, or some kind of other
They're in
issues are
DC
going on.
right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're in the gulag. I would also say like this person, a level 5 is like going to work for they if they don't, they would love to be working at InfoWars. They would love to be working for Steve Bannon. Like they would like this is their they eat and breathe this stuff. Like this is their life. Um I do want to distinguish between like a level 5 and I've decided it's like a level 5.0. Like level 5.0 is you're the leader of the Proud Boys. Level 5 is like you are a Proud Boy. You know what I'm
I believe
saying?
that
Like
they're labeled a terrorist organization.
yes,
I
yeah.
think.
So level 5 is like you're part of the Proud Boys. Level 5.0 is you're Laura Loomer. Like that's the difference. Like that's the ultimate. Like the Masons have the 33 degree Mason. Like that is basically the equivalent in what we are discussing. So it's like you are there, you're at the top.
She lives very
You like
close
you
to me, by
said,
the way.
yeah. Really?
Yeah, yeah, like pretty close, honestly.
Hopefully she sees this and knows she married. She like
No, no, no.
well,
She's
there you go.
she's not married. I don't.
Laura.
I would love to. I would have like a luncheon with her and discuss ideas. I think she'd be interesting to hang around with for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like I said, I think that like I said, level 5 is like you work kind of in this or you basically try to or you're part of a militia or you're part of some kind of group or you make YouTube videos
Oh
about
my god! Whenever I
or
think of a
Rumble
militia,
videos.
like
Yeah.
like when you mention militia, like what do you picture when you hear the word militia? Like in the parlance of our times, I picture like a bunch of like out of shape, like beer
Yes,
bellied,
totally.
like local
Yes.
yokels getting together at the garage.
Oh, yeah, completely. Like, I
Oh,
imagine although some of those militias are pretty legit, but, like, I for the most
uh,
part, like, I imagine, like, some, like, heavy set guy who, like, like, drinks, like, 3 Millers a day.
he's got the
Not
deer
but
rifle.
yeah, he's gonna do yeah, he doesn't yeah, he, like, can hardly run, but he's, like and that's what to me, it's, like, so funny when people the only reason like, let's be real, the only reason people have guns is, like, to shoot each other, like, it's not really to take on the
Right.
government, like and
No.
I don't mean that, like and I'm somebody that's hunted in my life, like, I'm somebody that I'm saying, like, if you're buying weapons with the idea that the government is going to collapse, the idea is not that you're going to shoot like, you're gonna take on the military, the idea is you're gonna
It's for
take
your
on
neighbor when they come to
your
eat
neighbor,
you.
yes, exactly,
That's what
like
it's for.
yeah, and it's like, that's what these people need to understand, like, I think that that's actually that statement alone is an argument for why we should be allowed to have guns, you know what I'm saying? Because, like,
Yeah.
you like, you need this show is a joke, just so if somebody's listening at YouTube, like,
No, it's
everything
a
we
total
say is just
joke. This is
in
just
jest.
nonsense.
Yes, this is
Like much
just
like our lives,
nonsense,
like my
much like
daily
our
life is
lives.
nonsense, really. Like it's
Yes,
completely
yeah.
pointless.
Yes, exactly. Precisely. It's silly. It's a silly existence that
Yeah,
we live and
it
we
is.
promote here. But but I really do like you said about like the militias, like I do think it's just funny. I personally, and we've kind of had this conversation in the past where I always point out to people like you could be armed to the teeth, but if you mentally are not strong enough to endure to either stand up or to endure the suffering that would go on during, like, all our out anarchy.
Like a civil war.
The Civil War, like, the guns aren't gonna do anything for you, and, like, personally as a Christian, like, it almost is, like, a little upsetting to me to see, like, all these Christians get, like, so militant, and you look at Jesus And when they came to take Jesus, the Roman guards came to like when they came to take Jesus in the garden, Peter goes and he takes a sword and he cuts off the guard's ear. And Jesus just says to Peter, he's like, if I wanted to, I could call down a legion of angels. Like, what are you doing, Peter? And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of these people that are out there with like their militias and God bless them. I think that they think that they're doing good or they mean well. But like we have, if you really are Christian, like you shouldn't be even worried about it. And they're not saying it in like, I'm not like a woke Christian. I just mean it in the sense that like God will take care of you. He will fight your battles. And you shouldn't really be that worried about it. Like you don't have to um like
What if you're
think that you're gonna
following
take
the
on.
biblical God though? He was always like seeking vengeance, and he was a pretty rough customer. You know
Well, it
what I
says,
mean?
vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So it's like that's his
That's
problem. You don't
true.
have to let him take care of it. But oh, and we didn't mention like one of the most important things, part of this levels. I can't believe I overlooked this. I apologize to our viewers. Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, World Economic Forum. Okay, a level 0 obviously has no freaking idea what's going on. Okay, a level
No.
1 has they've heard you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. They've heard that. A level 2 knows that it's called the Great Reset. I'd say level 3 understands that it's like, okay, it's the World Economic Forum. There's this guy, Klaus Schwab. There's the Great Reset. We're going to own nothing by 2030. Like they kind of understand it. Level 4 knows everything. Like they are super into it. They
They
know
know it's
Klaus
about
Schwab.
global
Yeah, like
depopulation, the
yes, yeah.
2030 agenda. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and then a level 5 has, like, read everything that the World Economic Forum puts out. They might have, even approached some of the people and gone to Davos if they could have. So,
They've been on
that's
Epstein
yeah,
Island,
they've been
like
yeah.
searching, hunting, searching, looking for clues while
Oh, that's a good
security's
one
chasing
too.
them.
We can break down, like, Epstein. Like, a level 1 is, like, Epstein? They're not really sure what the guy's name is. I'd say a level 2 is like, okay, Epstein, I understand he was, like, trafficking women or something. A level 3 is like, all right, that guy is servicing the most powerful people on the planet, Bill Clinton. These people have been on the Lolita Express. Like, they get it. A level 4 completely knows about adrenochrome. They're drinking adrenochrome. They believe it. They swear by it. And a level 5 is, obviously a level 5 is just all over that, doesn't question any of it. They've seen the Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton dark web videos,
The frazzle drip
the
tape.
frazzle drip tape. Yeah. Like they know about the
Yeah.
podestas, they know about the pizza,
I mean, you're a
they know
four.
about
Like
it
if
all.
you get the frazzle drip reference, like you're that's like an automatic four.
That's an automatic 4, yeah.
I think you're
Level
an
5
automatic
is you've
four.
watched it.
I I think I think too that you're an automatic four. Like if you knew of Jeffrey Epstein before 2019, before the whole suicide in the prison thing exploded and he became a meme. Epstein didn't kill himself, became a meme. Like I knew about him long before that. I can't remember specifically when I found out about him per se, but I knew about this island. I knew that he was very connected with heads of state and former presidents, and so you're an automatic four in my estimation if you
Yeah,
knew something
yeah.
about him before 2019.
Yeah, here's a question for you. What level do you think you are?
Oh, four. Yeah,
I think
a
that I'm a
four.
3.5. I think I'm a 3.5.
Oh,
I
you're a
think for
four.
the
You're
okay, well,
underestimating yourself.
I do think because of the nature of my work history, I definitely get elevated. Like I think that like puts me in a kind of an extremist camp, but not quite an Alex Jones extreme. Like I think that I'm definitely like I don't know. There's this part of my brain that always kinds of thinks like, okay, this is going to end in a prison camp. Like this is how it goes, Karen. But there's another part of me that just like so desperately wants to just like live a simple, easy life. And then I just know that like that's probably not gonna happen. So just own it and become a level 5. Hell, become a level 5.0. Just do it.
I feel comfortable at 4. I don't think I'm my personality type is capable of becoming a 5 due to various
Yeah.
fears of imprisonment and such. But oh, I would definitely say I'm a 4 for sure. I mean, if you know about the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegie Endowment and the Club of Rome and the Bilderberg Group. Like that's for material right there. But what did we say? I would date. I would take a 2, right? Like we said, I would take a
Yeah,
level
we
2.
think that it's a level 2 is just definitely somebody you can work with. A
Yeah,
level
I can
1
work with
is
that.
gonna just be a lot of that's gonna be a lot to get up to speed. Maybe when you're I don't even think when you're younger, because when you're younger, you're really not you're so malleable, you don't really know what's going on, and you can like, I'm sure you're familiar, there's plenty of people that at a young age were very, like, they weren't set in their ways, and now they're just, like, complete regressive sycophants, they think that Joe Biden is sharp as a tack, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you see that so I think, like, at this stage of the game, like, you need to go with a level 2 and up, and that's just the way. Now, I don't know, for you, I don't know, like you said, like a 5.0, that might be a little bit too much for you, like,
That would be
to
too much for me.
yeah.
And
I like how you're,
so
like, set, you're like, "Too much."
even somebody on my level might be a bit too much for me. That might not be what I need because
That might not
sometimes
be.
I
Yes.
I
Yeah.
I I need that voice of reason, and I need somebody with a bit of a normalcy bias to kind of reel me in a little bit because
Yes.
I can go
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole on a lot of this stuff. So I
Yes.
need to be reeled in by somebody
Well,
who's kind of has a bit of a normalcy bias.
yeah, this is actually what I've like, witnessed in my own family. Like, I have my father is the one with the normalcy bias, and, my mom is clearly the, Terminator 2 warrior. She's
Yeah,
Sarah
the
Connor.
most.
Like, her dream woman is to be Sarah Connor.
I don't blame her.
Honestly, like, I've had this conversation so, friends of mine, I had no idea that their mom this, like, made my day when I found this out. So, I always thought that their mom was really normal, but she was a nice Christian lady, and I just thought she was just, like, I thought she was, like, a level 0, you know? Then I found out, like, not a couple months ago, and, like, I've known them for years. I found out that their mom told them that Obama was the Antichrist. And I told them, like, "Your mom is so cool." Like, I had no they're like, "I don't" they're like, "We don't really consider that cool." And I'm like, "That's because you're not cool." But I was like, "Wow, your mom" like, she went up so many points in my she went from a level 0 to a level 3. And, like, I didn't think she thought about any of that kind of stuff.
You never
And,
know.
you never know, and I think that that's a good message for this Valentine's Day that, like, you kinda have to start broaching those topics. You gotta, like, dig a little bit deeper. You gotta ask the right questions. You gotta get in the right settings with these people. But, yeah, so she totally blew me away that she was, like, definitely more of a level 3, and I had just completely written her off. But you're kind of right that you do need it's like I said, my mom is definitely like a Sarah Connor, like I think she's like disappointed with how normal all of us are. Like I think she's like, you're not like you like she's like why she thought she was raising like a Proud Boy or something or like a some freedom fighters and she's like, what is this? Like what is this?
I really want to
Uh
watch Terminator 2 right now, by the way. Like I'm so
I
in the
know.
mood just from the
I
mention.
know. But so I think my mom is a little disappointed that we don't go harder. Like, I think she's like, "All right." But I think she knows too, like, we've had these conversations over the years where she realized, like, I had a family member who was really like he was like a level 5, you know? But I think that his personal life really suffered because of it. And, like, he would call my grandmother, and she'd be like, "I don't even understand what he's talking about." Like, he's going on and on about stuff. And like he was right about a lot of things. But I think that you need to, as you said, you need balance. You need some moderation. So you can't go
Yeah.
so far down the rabbit hole that you're not even living any normal
Ultimately,
life.
you have to admit that you have no control over any of this shit. Like,
Yes,
it's one thing to
exactly.
recognize that it's going on and that it's real,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
know, you're just Biff from down the block. You know what the hell are you gonna do? I mean,
yeah,
not to
yeah.
minimize your impact as a human being. You know, you do have the ability to positively influence people and situations, but everything that's going on right now with humanity globally, that's in the hands of a higher power.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned about like the weapons earlier, and I think it's kind of the same conclusion I have about like the Great Reset and world Klaus Schwab. Like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, didn't Jesus tell us we would own nothing and be happy? So why are we so
Klaus
afraid
Schwab
of
is
that?
Jesus. That's what you're trying to say. Clearly.
No, try to say he's Jesus. I don't. I think that the difference is Jesus implored us to of our own volition. Klaus Schwab wants us to do it by force. And Jesus didn't mean it in a way to control people. He meant it in a loving way. But what I mean is I pose to Christians, well, why are you so afraid of that? Like what is there to fear? We are all we there's nothing that we own. We are just stewards of what God has given us. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the World Economic Forum. I'm not going to worry about it. Like, do I know about it? Yes. But I think that a lot of this, my motivation for knowing a lot of this is to point to people. So when they are afraid, to say, like, listen, God outlined and prophesied a lot of the things that are taking place that we see right now and point back to God. And it actually says, it says in the Bible that that the leaders, God looks down in heaven and sees the leaders making their schemes and making their plans. And it says that God laughs at them. You know, the Lord in heaven laughs. So I'm saying we all sit here and think like I think back to like the early 2000s when the European Union began and everybody thought this is it. There's the one world government. Here we go. Buckle up. And we saw that we saw Brexit. We saw now France is trying to potentially exit. We see that this is breaking up, that it might not be. I think that it's a sign of things to come.
Could be a
But I
Texit too.
yes, I also saw there's another one. It was like New Hampshire or something is trying to exit. But what I'm saying is it's a sign of things to come. I don't think that we shouldn't note it, but we don't know. We don't know. So I almost think maybe Klaus Schwab thinks that he in the World Economic Forum, everybody thinks that this is they're going to be in control by 2030. And Xi Jinping might have a completely different plan for the world that might throw a wrench in that plan.
Well, you know what they
And
say: if
like
you
I
want to
said,
make Xi Jinping laugh, tell him your plans.
but do you understand what I'm saying? So I think it's good to know these things because I'm not dismissing the European Union. I think you do look at the European Union, you do look at the World Economic Forum and you say, look at all these things that they're talking about. Like and God prophesied a lot of where we're moving towards, what we're going towards, like buying, you look in Revelation about buying and selling and how they're going to control all that. And you'll have to have the mark of the beast. And you see this all being set up that these things are possible. Not only are they possible, but they're part of the conversation. But that's not so I have to know every little comment that is made at the World Economic Forum. It's good to know those things, but my motivation is so that when people hear about it and they're scared, I can say, "Listen, no, this is what God wrote. He knows the plan. We just have to do what's best today in the lives we live." But yeah, so sorry I started
Well,
this like whole
Noah Harari would disagree with you. He said that there is no God. This is a myth, and it's this concept of humans having free will is just that. You have no free will, but I imagine he will still have free
free
will.
will, yeah. He'll still have steaks while we eat crickets. He'll still have a mansion while we live in a little hut. Like, that's just, it's everybody knows that that's the way it goes, but like I said, I think it's just a way to encourage people to not be afraid,
No, you're
to
right.
not fear. But yeah, so I think that we did, I hope that that was beneficial for you. I would love to know if people, like, write in the comments what you think, like, what's a levels did we get any of these wrong too? Like, did I get, was something a little bit, maybe a level 0 should have been this, or level 5 should have been that.
I just wanna know, and what kinda scene do I have to be hanging out in to find, like, a level 3 or a level 4?
The Latin mass.
Oh, man. I
I tell you all the
it's
time,
pretty
like, listen, I'm, like, amazed when I talk to there's so many people out there that the average person, I'm really blown away with, like, how much people know. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody, just like a housewife who just wants to, like, be Joanna Gaines, and
sure. Don't
we were
we
talking about,
all?
like, Christmas decorations, right? And, I said something about Target, or she said something about Target, and she's like, "I don't really like to shop there though, because, they had, like, the, um, the transgender clothing for, like, 4-year-olds, like the bathing
Yeah.
suits." And I was like, "Wow, you know about that?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, "What?" It's like, "Oh, I thought I just know about this because of my work." Like, I thought, but you'd be surprised, like, I have a lot of conversations with people that they are well aware about a lot of what's going on, and I think you'd be pretty surprised, like, how much people know.
You're right, because,
Yeah.
like, especially a lot of the boomers, like, I guess from being on Facebook and sharing memes, it's how does my father know about Jeffrey Epstein? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's kinda strange to me in a way,
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
sense, that they're privy to the concept of, a central bank digital currency, and these things are popular in the parlance of our times. It is very, hopeful and optimistic for sure.
Well, that's why the World Economic Forum was so concerned about rebuilding trust. Like, that was the whole moniker of the 2024 World Economic Forum Davos meeting, was rebuilding trust. They want to they I think that they've recognized that the bottle has, the genie has been let out of the bottle with so much of this information, and they have to, like, bring it back in. The bottle's got to be filled again. The genie needs to be back.
The
And
toothpaste needs to go back in the tube, which is
yes.
impossible.
But yeah, so I feel like they recognize that people are aware, and people are, I don't know, I guess I think the hardest part of of all of this is, like, knowing a lot of it, but not knowing really what to do with it. Like, what is the point? What are we supposed to do? You feel like you vote, and I think that that's, like, we've had the conversation about January 6th. Like, a lot of that was fueled by frustration, because it's like we recognize what's going on before our eyes, but we feel powerless to do anything about it. And that's where always encourage people to be like, all right, well, what's right in front of you? What can you do right in your own backyard, your own home, your own family, your own community? Just focus that, pare it down. And some of that might be sharing some of that information that you know, to an extent. So,
Yeah, don't, don't freak anybody out. Just
no.
kinda tread lightly, as they say.
But yeah, so I hope that this Valentine's Day, um, maybe when you're sitting, maybe you take a girl out, you take a guy out, you guys go out, you're sitting there, you get a little meal, you get some
You sit on the couch
chocolates,
with
some
your cat.
flowers,
Yeah, that's
and
more
you watch
likely.
Tucker's interview with Putin again,
Yeah,
just to
exactly.
see what else
On the
Putin did.
on the couch with the cat watching Tucker and Putin. That's really more, accurate of what my Valentine's Day celebration will
Right, yeah,
consist
so
of, but
I hope that this guide is a resource for that potential mate, that you can kind of decide if it's not necessarily to say that that person's not worthy of your relationship, but it's just more about compatibility. Like, are you compatible with this individual? Like,
Are
do
you
they
compatible with
know?
anybody? The answer could be no. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's well, no, I would say you and Laura Loomer are probably very compatible. I
Nah,
think
she's a bit more intense than me.
she's
She's a level 5. I'm at a 4. I'm at like a low 4, like a foot, you know.
yeah, the real question is what does Elizabeth Hurley fall on this? Like, I
Oh,
wish
she's a 0. She doesn't
she's a
she has no
0.
idea. She's part of the whole, she's probably using adrenochrome. No, I don't know that. I shouldn't say that.
Yes, yes, yeah. So I can't wait for YouTube to give us the little like we're gonna have like so many, you know how those little markers come up underneath, like from Wikipedia. Our
Yeah.
whole entire thing is going to just be like underneath is just gonna be a whole bunch of like notes, like okay, reptilians, vaccines, David
The
Icke, like
community
it can't even
notes.
like the algorithm is gonna like break down. It's like I don't even know where to keep up with these people. So but yes, so that is just our little guide for Valentine's Day. We hope that is helpful to all of you eligible young men and women that are just fighting the good fight against the World Economic Forum out there. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, trying to what just happened there?
Klaus is coming for me.
Uh-oh.
He's coming to take me away. I think it's just this oven, actually. But
I didn't hear anything.
it's,
Was there?
oh, there's like, do you hear it? The smoke
No.
alarms are going off.
No, I don't.
Sorry.
Well, I
Okay.
hope everything's
Sorry.
okay there. Um
I hope that it's on there so everybody knows why I was freaking out. I'm gonna edit it in so everybody can hear. That was actually like we have systems that listen to us and so Biden and the DOJ was coming to get me for
Hey,
speaking out against him.
before we wrap things up here, did you said that you are going to are you going to have the Super Bowl on or
I have no clue because I have no idea how to watch it. So I'm thinking like we
go to
might,
YouTube?
yeah.
You know what people do? They like live stream their
Like,
ABC feed. That's what I did last year. Like at the tail end, somebody was just like live streaming their TV.
I don't know. I kind of okay, I will be honest, I kind of do like watching the commercials now that I think about it. Like I do like to watch commercials and see. And there was a really good Jeep one with that did Groundhog's Day back when I was in the hospital in 2020. I don't it's so long ago because it's pre-COVID.
Yeah,
But there was a Groundhog Day commercial. It was a Jeep commercial with what's
Bill
his
Murray.
name? Bill Murray and some of the cast of it was a Groundhog Day
I
commercial
remember.
with a Jeep. Yeah. And I was in the hospital recovering from my transplant, and I remember watching the Super Bowl from my hospital room, recovering with like staples and stuff.
Memories.
Memories, yeah. Just 'cause I actually have more than one memory of watching the Super Bowl in the hospital. I think I've been in the hospital 3 times for the Super Bowl. So I even remember when I was 6 years old, I was in the hospital. I remember watching, I think it was Reggie White, the Green Bay Packers. He gave glory to God. My mom's like, "See that? You give glory to God." So we're gonna give glory to God on this episode because just like I think his name's Reggie. Well, she's gonna write in the comments. She'd be like, "It's not Reggie White, you moron.
Who
I
is
raised a
who
fool."
who are the teams? Is the Chiefs versus who? The 49ers?
Yes, yeah, they're both red. I know that.
I'm
Red
sure that
cup.
the Chiefs are already like booked to win because like here's what happens. It's like
Yes.
it's not like the entire team is privy to the outcome, but I think what they do is they take a few key people from each side and say, look, at this point you're gonna fumble the ball, and then that's gonna lead into this. Like a few people get their marching orders to do what they need to do to
Yeah.
produce the desired outcome, which is Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift embracing in the middle of the field while Travis Kelsey's named the MVP, and then they endorse Michelle Obama, and then she comes down on a float, and
Yeah.
that's where all
They're
this is
like
leading.
they all had like a powwow before the game. They're like, "Listen, democracy is at stake
You're
if
right.
Travis does not win the Super Bowl." Okay? We know he's a homely man that isn't really that good looking, but he needs to win. Taylor is going to be with her ruby red lips out there, and the entire country needs to see this. And then they'll, like you said, embrace and they'll turn to the camera and they'll say, Michelle 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Trump will be no more, and they'll be like Travis Taylor, the whole team, Patrick Mahomes, his tacky girlfriend. You have saved democracy as we know it. So that's
Then
right.
they all
I
get
bet
down
you're right.
on one knee and hold their fist up.
Well, I guess next week we'll have to see. We'll have to do a
Oh.
recap of what actually
What
happens,
if
and
that's
we'll.
exactly what happens, like to a T? Wouldn't that be
What's funny
wild?
is we're not going to release this till tomorrow, so we could be
Yeah,
completely
nobody can
wrong.
even that's the thing. Oh, well, listen, this has been fun, and we're gonna do this again next week or
Yes.
sometime. And I know see Karen goes on about 4 vacations a year, so your schedule is very,
No, we're
it
good for next
determines
week. We're
things.
good. We're good for the
Okay.
next 2 weeks. Yes, yeah. Mhm, mhm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Well, on that note, listen, I hope you all had a lot of fun spending some time with us here together. I wish you a happy Saint Valentine's Day. It's a very holy day.
Mhm.
And we'll see you right here next week on another jam-packed, fun-filled edition of the Re-Education Camp podcast. Have a great week, folks.